Just a few months ago, as Sukkot was about to begin, I was bringing the garbage cans in from the curb when I noticed something etched into the concrete in front of my home. Someone had carved the word Jew into my sidewalk. I wrote about this in a Between Us when it happened. I froze. I stared at it, and I wasn't sure what to do. At first, I tried to grind it away, sand it out, erase it. But after a while, I stopped. I stopped because I realized that erasing it wouldn't actually erase what happened, or what's happening right now. So instead, my family and I decided to reclaim it. We decorated around it. We added the words, "Proud Jews." We committed to changing it into something more beautiful, more meaningful, more resilient. We refused to let that act of hate be the final word. But I'll admit something to you. That night, after my kids went to bed and the house was quiet, I stood out there in the dark and I felt something I didn't want to feel. Fear. Not just for myself, but for them, for the Jewish world they're inheriting, for the moments they might be made to feel othered or unsafe or unwelcomed just for being who they are. And for a split second, I wondered, will it ever get better? We're not imagining it. Antisemitism is on the rise again. The Anti-Defamation League just released its 2024 audit of anti-Semitic incidents in New Jersey. There were 830 documented incidents in our state alone, a 34% increase from the year before, the highest total ever recorded. That's more than 2 anti-Semitic acts a day. In schools, on campuses, on sidewalks like mine. This week was Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Memorial Day. This week we remember the 6 million Jews who perished in the Shoah and the vibrant Jewish lives they lived before the world turned its back on them. And tonight we ask the questions that have no easy answers. How could humanity let this happen? Where was God? Could it happen again? Elie Wiesel once said, "To forget a Holocaust is to kill twice." But remembering alone isn't enough. Yom HaShoah must be a day not only of memory, but of moral resistance. I wrestle with God. I wrestle with God when I hear about students hiding the Stars of David that they wear on campus. I wrestle with God when I hear a chant at a rally that sounds like something out of 1930s Europe. I wrestle with God when I stand on my own sidewalk and see the word Jew weaponized as an insult. But I also wrestle with something else. I wrestle with the call to hope. There's a line in the Unatana Tokef prayer from our High Holiday Machzor, our prayer book. It goes, "Who shall live and who shall die? Who shall be at peace and who shall be troubled?" This blessing lives in a world of absolutes, especially of theological certainty, but we as human beings don't. Life doesn't offer us those neat divisions. Most of us live in the uncertainty between them, the middle ground between being at peace and being troubled, between belief and doubt. In fact, even our tradition doesn't shy away from doubt. It blesses it. We are Am Yisrael, the people who wrestle with God. And in that struggle, in that tension between fear and faith, between despair and hope, Judaism breathes. That's where it lives. Not in the silence of certainty, but in the sacred noise of asking, what now? What next? What must I do? That's what I asked our 12th graders when I showed them the carving in front of my house. I expected them to be shocked, maybe even scared, but instead they responded with calm certainty. Things like, we can't let stuff like this change how we live. We need to say who we are even louder than this. Out of the mouths of our children comes the call to courage. So how do we respond? How do we live with dignity and purpose in a time of rising hate? Respond the way our people always have, with song, with study, with protest, with prayer, with stubborn hope, with sidewalk chalk, with candles and windows, with the sacred act of being unapologetically Jewish. Just 2 weeks ago in our Haggadah, we read that in every generation there are those who rise up to destroy us, but the Holy One, blessed be God, saves us from their hands. But how does God save? How does God save us? Not with a divine hand reaching from heaven. God saves us through our hands, through our resolve, through our resistance, through our radical decision to keep living, keep giving, keep loving in the face of hate. Jewish history is not just a story of suffering, it's a story of resilience. We are the descendants of prophets and poets, of Holocaust survivors and freedom fighters. We are the ones who plant gardens in ashes, who tell stories in the ruins, who whisper Shema into shattered silence and still believe in redemption. The psalmist writes, I believe that I shall yet see the goodness of God in the land of the living. Not someday, not in the world to come, but here and now. In this world, in this life, in this moment, even, especially when the world tells us not to. So this week we light candles not only in memory, but in defiance. We teach our children not only what happened, but what must never happen again to anyone. We carry our doubts with us, not to weaken our faith, but to deepen it. We stand on sidewalks and on sacred ground and say, I am proud to be a Jew. We are the people who struggle. We are the people who remember. We are the people who rebuild. We are the people who call out the pharaohs and stand with all the vulnerable around us. Because we are Jews, and that's what we do. May we all find the courage in the face of hate to do so. Amen, and Shabbat Shalom.